Okay. And go for it.
As you guys know, I am in sunny Florida. The surf is pumping. Not really. I'm going to teach you guys one of the locals' favorite, which is blackened fish. But of course, I'm going to put a little bit of Sarah Glover twist on it. And that is that I'm going to be cooking it in this really amazing little fish grill by Campfire Australia. So I have got some red snapper, which is one of the locals' favorite, I have found out. So I've just got a fillet here. It's about that big. Weighs about maybe 400 grams. Don't know what that is in ounces. We are going to throw it into this frying pan. This frying pan I'm also going to be using to do our fried rice that I'm going to serve with it. I'm a huge fan of when you're cooking on the road to use less so you don't have to do as many dishes later on down the track. So one of the key ingredients is cayenne pepper. So we're just going to throw a little bit in, about that much. Teaspoon, some white pepper. We've got some garlic powder. This is all roughly about a teaspoon. We've got some thyme. Now you could definitely make this rub ahead of time before you hit the road. And some paprika. Again, about a teaspoon. You can do it to your kind of like tasting. If you don't want it too spicy, don't put too much cayenne pepper in it. We're going to grind some pepper on there. And some salt. About that much. 2 teaspoons. And I've got some grapeseed oil that I am just going to pop over the top of this fish. That's probably about a tablespoon. Now, I didn't really bother mixing it all up beforehand, and that's just because I'm just going to rub this in really well into my fish. And again, you could pre-marinate this if you wanted to and have it in your little cooler ready to go, so you didn't have to like fuss about while you're on the road. But I'm sure you're going to pick up your fish, either you're going to catch it yourself or you're going to find a local guy to sell you a yummy bit. So we really want to make sure that's really well coated, because the whole thing is that that fish gets that lovely flavour, and the oil is important because that's what's going to fry our fish. Now I've got my little cooker here going. I'm going with some lumped hardwood charcoal, and it's been burning for about half an hour. So we're just going to grab the fillet and pop it into our basket, and then we flip the lid over. Now obviously this is also designed to do like a whole fish, which is really handy if you like maybe out camping and you happen to catch a whole fish. And we're going to just grab this little lever and pop it all the way out the top so that when we rotate it, the basket doesn't fly open. I'm going to take it over to our fire. Okay, so I have got my fish ready. I'm going to start skin side down to the fire. Now, you could do this obviously over an open fire if you wanted to, but one thing about camp cooking and the unpredictability of it is you never know if you can actually have an open fire or not. So these little guys are super handy to travel with. They're super safe because you've got a base on it, so there's no sparks or embers going down, and it's raised off the ground, and I'm just using lumped hardwood charcoal, not actually an open flame with wood. So we're going to leave this guy. He's going to take about 10 minutes each side. It is quite a thick piece of meat. So the idea is that you just want all of the flesh to go white, and we want that skin to go crispy. So I am going to make a really simple leftover fried rice to go with our fish. So we're going to do that while this is cooking. Okay, so with the pan that we had our fish marinating in, I'm actually going to use this to do our fried rice in. So I'm just going to pop it on my little trusty Primus cooker here. Don't worry about that, leave it in there, it's all flavour. We've got some quirky dude flying around on, I don't even know what you call it. What do you call it, Johnny? Like a parachute propelled, like what is it? He's just bobbing around out there. Florida people love everything outdoor, and you know what? They're super quirky too. Loud and proud. I mean, I don't relate at all. I've got about 2 cloves of garlic. Just a rough little chop on there, straight into our pan. Got some lemongrass. I just happen to have this left over in the fridge, so I'm just throwing it in there. But preferably fresh lemongrass is a good idea. That's about a tablespoon, I would say. Oh, it's already smelling delicious. You're actually just wanting to get the garlic to get a little bit aromatic while it's cooking. We don't want to overcook it because we actually want that flavour to infuse into our rice. So I just did some black rice here. You could use brown rice, white rice, it's really up to you. I just really love the nutty flavour of this. So we're going to toss that straight in. I've got some broccoli. These are just all things that were in my fridge. So I've just got some broccoli and some rather sad looking carrots. But all these things you can throw in, and I know when you're camping or on the road, sometimes you've just got those like ugly looking vegetables that you don't know what to do with. This is a great way to use them because they're still going to taste good. So throw those in. It smells delicious. This isn't really like a traditional fried rice by any stretch of the imagination, but it's rice that's being fried, so I'll call it fried rice. So I'm just going to get a little bit of colour and flavouring in there because we're going to just serve that on the plate with our fish fillet over it. I've got some very sad looking parsley and coriander. Yet again, doesn't matter, we're going to toss it in. It's going to cook down a little bit. It's going to taste delicious. You can always bring back your greens that are a bit wilted like this by simply giving them an ice water bath for about Saturday for about half an hour, and they'll spring back. It's just because they're just gotten dehydrated. And the one thing about Florida is it's super humid and hot and everything just dies really quickly. Black eyed pumpkin I tried to carve the other day because it's autumn here, fall they call it. A little bit more cayenne, a little bit more garlic powder. I know I've already got garlic in there, but I'm just all about bringing out those similar flavours that are going to be in our fish. So we're tossing a little bit more olive oil, well, grapeseed oil. So I used grapeseed oil. Woo! That's the cayenne pepper. His old mate showing off for the camera. I'm just getting a woof of cayenne pepper. Woo! Zing! What I was saying is, I'm going to put the broccoli in. You can really toss in any veggies. Just the main thing to remember when you're making your fried rice is you want to add your vegetables in their cook time, because you don't want like overcooked gross vegetables. No one loves that. You want to keep that lovely pop of colour in. So I've gone carrots first because they're a little harder, but I'm not cooking mine all the way through because a lot of like Asian style cooking tends to be a little bit more fresh and al dente. Some fresh greens in there. I might even zest a little bit of lemon over the top because we're doing seafood. I was talking about the oil. So I'm using grapeseed oil because it's a neutral flavour, and just a tiny bit of sesame oil. Actually meant to bring soy sauce, but grapeseed works too. If you've got soy, throw that in. That's a great idea. Oh, it's smelling great. Turn that guy off. So I'm saying I use grapeseed when I'm cooking maybe something like this rather than extra virgin olive oil, so the flavour tends to be more neutral and doesn't take away from all our herbs and spices that we're putting on our fish and also with our fried rice. Did I put salt on there? Well, seeing as I didn't have any soy, throw a little bit of salt on there. Just taste it. Put a bit of quality control. Yeah, so a great hack for road tripping, and depending on how many days you're going, is to just like pre-boil up a bunch of rice and take it with you. Because it's annoying to have to like bring the pot and then boil it and everything. Okay, let's go a bit of kick to it. Definitely got a little happy with the cayenne pepper. We're going to check our fish now. Alright, so the awesome thing about this cage is it's actually non-stick, and so particularly doing a fillet like this, it's going to be really easy for it to remove, like for me to move this fish out, and it's also really easy for me to turn. I'm not having to like use spatulas and extra equipment to try and flip the fillet. That's almost a bit of a tongue twister. So it's looking, I'm really happy with how this guy is looking. That skin is starting to crispen up and we're nearly ready to eat it. Alright, so it is dinner time at Camp Florida. We're going to throw in a little bit of our fried veggie rice using the leftovers from our fridge. Toss it in. Then our fish, we're just going to open the cage. Check that out. Beautifully cooked. The way you can tell as well is you're just going to be able to pull that flesh away really nicely. Look at that. Delicious. I'm nervous that this is going to go flying. One sec. Should have opened it up the other way. That was a fail. Whatever. Bloopers. Real life. Throw on a bit of fish. I've just chosen to cut it down from where the skin is. Obviously that skin's nice and crispy, so some people might be all about the crispy skin. You can give them that. You can see how perfectly that just pulls away. Lovely fillets. And I love cooking it this way also rather than directly in a frying pan, because you're going to get all that lovely smoky flavour from our little charcoal grill there. And our skin's just gotten a nice, like, kind of crispy, smoky flavour on it rather than necessarily like a deep fried kind of pan taste. So, all in all, I think the Sarah Glover blackened fish fried rice is a hit. But don't trust me, you guys better try it. Report back. Leave me comments below. What do you do on YouTube? Thumbs up, hit the bell, subscribe.